Hey everybody, and welcome back to the garage. I have always been a big fan of laser engravers. My first try was attaching a DIY 5-watt engraver kit to my not so trusty ANET A8 3D printer. I wanted to dip my toe in, see how much it cost, and how much more complicated it was compared to 3D printing. It turns out it was easier than 3D printing. With the experience of the ANET A8 kit, it ended up being really easy to start out and make the laser burn some really cool stuff. But with every project, the details matter. This kit ended up being a little bit too slow to run, and the cost of upgrading the laser module up to something beyond 5 watt was almost the same as buying a dedicated system, like the Yorahome 5.5 watt laser engraver. I bought this at, you guessed it, Craigslist. I wanted a larger build area and an upgrade to a better software like Lightburn. I highly recommend that program, by the way. One issue with this engraver was it took forever to actually cut out parts. So I asked Santa for an early Christmas present and found the MECPOW X3 Pro 10-watt laser engraver waiting for me in my garage after a couple of days of shipping from his warehouse in China. The laser engraver cutter arrived in a surprisingly small box that was well packaged. The kit came almost entirely disassembled, but that was not an issue because the important bits, like the gantry and the control box, were already built up and connected. The manual was written with a minimum of words. The English section was done really well with pictures and arrows indicating what screw to put where and what few connections there were to plug in. One of the fancy upgrades this engraver came with was an air assist system. This is a fancy fish tank bubbler that pushes air to the laser end and helps clean out dust and smoke from the cut. Assembly was pretty straightforward. There isn't a whole lot to put together here. A couple of rails and a couple legs, and that's really all there was. The only thing I really had to check the book for was where the X and Y end stops were and how to string the drive belts into the stepper motors and then secure them down. I'm fumbling here a bit because the included screwdriver is a bit too small for the screws. The drive belt attaches to the rail ends with a screw and washer combo. You then feed the belt under and around the motor and engage the teeth on the gear. Then the end is fed back down and under the drive wheel, then you secure the other end with a screw and washer, just like you did at the front. Not too hard to do. I didn't really tighten the belt down too hard. I just gave it a snug test and then made sure the gears didn't skip when I pushed on the gantry. The gantry feels a little loose here. If it starts to skip, I will adjust it later. This is a 10-watt laser assembly. Installing the laser was easy. There is a small thumb screw used to hold it in place on the Z-axis, and one cable to connect. Connecting the fancy air assist is no big deal. The separate kit has a pump and a section of quick release hose that are more than long enough for my needs. The kit has a special right-angled connector that attaches to the laser module down near the business end. Okay, now let's connect this thing to some software. I'm using Lightburn because it's a great program and it has paid for itself. What I'm doing here is creating the device manually. I'm going to select the GRBL because that's the controller that I want to use. I'm going to click Next on that. And how do we want to connect to it? Well, we're going to connect serial/USB. And now we can call the device whatever we want. And I'm going to call it the MECPOW X3 Pro. I'm also going to make sure that the dimensions of the work area are set. I just put 17 and 17 in there. I can tweak those later. I'm going to make sure that the front left is chosen for the origin and unclick Auto Home because I don't want it moving as soon as I turn it on. Click Next, then click Finish. And there you go. At this point, we can click the Home button and see if it works. Alright, let's make some smoke. I did a test engrave with my logo and now I want to do a two-step process where I engrave it and then I cut it out as a coin. The engraver sounds like any other small CNC device, simple whirring and soft mechanical noise. The loudest part of this system is the air assist. It sounds like I have a leaky air compressor line in the garage. Not that bad of a job. This little project took about 2.5 minutes to engrave and cut out. There was no charring on the cut line and the engraving came out perfect. I couldn't be happier with this.
Well, there you have it. I've had the printer for about a month and a half now, and everything that I've tried to do has worked great. The engraving function works perfectly as expected. The cutting function, that's really what I bought this for. It works great. I cut out a bunch of ornaments for Christmas, had them in time for presents under the tree. If you think I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.